Hey, Gabe.
Hey, what's up?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Hanging in there.
Man, I just walked in the door. I cut it real close.
You need a few minutes?
No, I'm just walking up here to get something to Michael, and I'm gonna walk back down, get in my room. Here, Michael. That'll help a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I cut it real close. I got a tight schedule today with the broadcast and all that.
Mm-hmm.
How's things going with you?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, not bad.
All right. Got a question for you.
Yeah.
Did you get that thing from Eve?
Yeah, I did.
Did you read it?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what's going on over here?
I don't. I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Well, you knew Eve factioned out, right?
I knew that she, you had sent an email about something about that. So
yeah,
when
well, here's what happened. Kevin's been trying to get Eve for two reasons. Number one, he's lusted after her for years. Number two, he hates her because her dreams have destroyed him and revealed who he is. So he is mixed up with a Satanist group. Did you know that?
I had heard you say that on the broadcast.
Yes, okay. So how many broadcasts have you listened to?
Well, I haven't listened to any, but I read the text of it. You know, sometimes I'll check the text of the broadcast. You know, because you have it in text form.
So the series that I did on a faction, that series, you read those texts?
I skimmed through it, parts of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you got any questions, you can answer. But Eve is not the same person. Period. She is totally reversed. About 2 months before she totally berserked out, she started having sex with Kevin. She went down there to try to save her boys, and I warned her not to, and the Lord gave her dreams not to, and she did it anyway. And they just heaped, demons on top of her. The demons were actually, when she was still with us and she was having sex with Kevin, that's not the Eve we know. She knew Kevin. She watched him go through faction 4 times, and she knew that he lusted after every woman he could while he was here. So she knew all that about him, and yet when he put those demons on her, she was totally the reverse. All these years, Kevin was right and we were wrong. Literally, that's what she told us. Yeah, he was right. He was trying to straighten us out. So anyway, they put a demon on her called Asmodeus. It's a spirit that they use actually all over the world to turn women over to men they never, ever would have married. It's a demon that causes the woman to respect, admire, trust, obey the one who has the demon. And some people pronounce it Asmodeus. But it's the head demon over incubus and succubus. It's a principality demon, and Kevin has that. It's holding a lot of people in bondage. There is a group of Satanists that's mostly made up of past factious leaders that are in his group of Satanists, and they send curses to people. They did it to Eve. They heaped witchcraft, faction, lust. Michael and I saw lust come over her when she was still here, and on her, and they put fornication on her, anger, uh, slander, those demons. They put all those demons on her, and she totally reversed who Eve is, and we know, okay? I'm not worried about it, but she is lying, flat out lying. And but she's been doing that since that happened to her. Before she left here, she started passing out Kevin's stuff over here, which is his, psychology stuff. He turned away from the Bible. No Satanist will read the Bible. He turned to psychology for help, which is a waste of time, totally. And he had her distributing his stuff over here before she left. She started talking bad about me, which she's never done in her life that I've known her. Never. Me and Michael cast demons out of her so many times when she got around Eddie or around Kevin. We had been doing that for some time, but the last 2 months or so, we noticed it was ineffective. It was not working. And that was because God told us she's going to go into this thing and she's going to experience all of it all the way to the bottom. And he means the bottom. They've done this with other women since the first faction. They've brought them under control. They have, I don't know if all of these came from previous factions, but some of them did come from previous factions, and they're dumbed down just like Eve. And he has a whorehouse. And he is using it just like Epstein was. They're bringing men in there from the local government, cops, everything, to have sex with these women, and they're photographing them.
David, I believe Eve. I believe she's telling the truth.
She's not.
I believe that, everything kind of made sense. Just to let you know, like when I first saw the email, it was like it didn't register. I don't know why, because I hadn't heard Eve's name really. And so I opened it, and then I was like, I didn't even think like, oh, okay, faction or anything like that. And then I guess like halfway through, I was like, oh goodness, I'm not supposed to be reading this, but
That's right. That's what opened you up to that. That's what makes you believe it. Anybody that reads that believes it.
Well, because it's true, David. It's true. You did do this thing.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did, David. I've seen stuff. The evidence is overwhelming.
No, sir. You're believing that.
No, David.
Well, let me finish, okay?
Well, you've been talking. I mean, I should be able to talk too. I'm just saying my points. That's all I'm doing.
I'm trying to give you the background that you don't know.
I know the background. You told me everything for a long time. I talked to Eve. You're right, she is different. She's happier. I've never seen her in such a good place in my whole life.
You talked to her after
Yes,
you read that?
Absolutely. I talked to her.
That's why. What do you think is going to happen, Gabe, when you talk to somebody who has those demons on her?
Well, first of all, she doesn't have demons, David. She doesn't have demons, David.
Oh, God, man, you don't know. Listen to me, please.
David, I heard you. You acted so inappropriate in some of those recordings that I'm embarrassed to even have my wife listen to it, David. I could not believe that you were acting like that. I heard from you, David. I caught you in multiple lies with different things, and I've never seen this side of you, David. And it's.
Listen. I have never ever had any sexual contact.
I didn't say sexual. You kissed her. You've rubbed on her and different things like that.
No, I did not rub on her. That's a lie. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
It's not, David.
You disobeyed, and that's how you got faction on you.
I did not disobey, David.
Yes, you did.
Listen, I had a minor, it might have been a minor infraction in your mind, but it's not the overwhelming stuff about you. You're looking at a minor thing. I'm looking at the weightier matters of what's happening here. You're being called into question here, David, not me. This is not about me. This is about you, and about you owning up to what you did.
It's you believing this stuff.
Because it's true, David. I've seen emails, David. I've seen emails of you trying to get her to be your wife when you're married and she was married. I've seen it all, David. There's nothing that you can tell me.
Listen, I did not. Just between you and me, I have never done that. What she got, listen to the dream she got. Here's the dream she got. The dream she got was, I was with my back towards her. She was coming up to me, creeping up to me naked. The Lord appeared next to me facing her. He rebuked her and he pointed her away from me. She was trying to seduce me.
David,
listen. I'm going to give you.
But David,
I'm going to give you the whole truth if you'll let me get it out.
But sir, that's totally irrelevant. You know whether she's seducing or what. You know, you tried to get her to be your wife.
No, that's not the case. Here's the case. Will you listen?
Yes, sir.
This is not the case.
Yes.
Okay. The case is we both got revelations at the same time. Michael got revelations that ultimately she was going to marry me. We got those revelations, and we said, God, we're not going to accept that. Me and Eve both said, we're not going to accept this. And that's the way we started out. We said, Lord, if this is ultimately going to happen, then give us confirmations. Wow. Did we ever get confirmations? We were very confused at first. We didn't tell Michael nothing about it, but he got the revelation too, that this was ultimately going to happen. Not now. Not now. I have a wife, and I've been faithful to that wife. Okay, but we knew this was coming. She knew it, and I knew it. We both knew it. And matter of fact, we got dreams about it, because when we asked for confirmations, God said, I've already given you confirmations.
David, I'm okay. I don't, like when
Please
I first...
Please, Gabe, let me finish.
I will, but David, I've got to talk too in this. It's not just one-sided, you know?
Okay, but I haven't been able to explain through...
Okay, you're right. You're right, David, you're right. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so when we asked, Lord, neither one of us wanted to accept that. Okay. First of all, Kevin dumped, manipulated, and homemade emails on Eddie. He wouldn't let anybody see those emails but Eddie. He told Eddie, don't show them to anybody. That's what they do. Because he manufactures emails. And he manufactures audios and videos, because he's done it with us before for the ministry. He manufactures them. He did this to Eddie, and Eddie divorced his wife. She was about to try to object, and she asked the Lord, and she put her finger down on of me. The problem is with Eddie, as Eve told me a long time ago, he is a bisexual. And the problem with Kevin is he is now bisexual. Those two, sir.
He's not. He's not a bisexual, David.
Yes, he is. He is a bisexual. He and Eddie, the dreams that we've had about him, point out the exact same thing. This is something we've known for some time.
Okay, so David,
bisexual, and let me finish. Okay, you can make up your mind after I can get it all
I
out.
know, but David, we have to communicate with each other through points. It can't be just you talking the whole time.
Okay, so he's a bisexual, and those two were together. Okay, and
just because you had the dreams, did you come to that conclusion through the dreams?
No, not completely.
But how do you know, David? How can you say that about him if you have no idea?
You didn't even let me answer. You asked me a question and you won't let me answer. When Eve went down there, contrary to God's will, she went down there to get her house back, which was contrary to God's will, because God said he was going to give it to her anyway, and he was going to give her sons back. He gave her dreams about all of that. And she disobeyed, and she went down there. And they heaped those demons on her, and she ended up with Asmodeus putting in her this admiration for him. She lived with this man on and off. She's not living with him totally, and the reason that she's not living with him totally is he comes to her for sex, and there's other women that are in the whorehouse that he's having sex with at the same time.
David.
So, listen, I'm trying to tell you the absolute truth. And I got it from somebody on the inside, too.
But it's not the truth, David. It's not the truth.
Well, you wouldn't believe it because you read that. I'm trying to tell you, and you talked to her. You just wouldn't believe it because of that. Because that's what happens when you talk to factious people. You've known that from the beginning, and you did it anyway.
No, David. No,
yes,
you're the one that has separated a lot of people, and it's you, David. It's like you just can't.
Kevin's the good guy, right?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that you know, if you want to go by dreams, me and my wife, we had a dream that you were with this woman in a closet, and you were having sex with her, and you come out of this closet with leprosy all over you. But it was like a year ago, and I was like, you know, okay, we're not going to receive this. We don't believe this about David. And so I could use that against you with what Eve's saying.
Can you let me answer that? I can answer that. I have never had sex with anybody but my wife from the very beginning.
It was a dream. Never. I know it could, if you lust after a person, if you've had intimate relationships with Eve, touching and kissing. I'm not saying you had sex.
No. That is a lie.
You've never kissed Eve.
Let me tell you something else. When my wife got into the false revival movement, and she basically got faction on her, it's when we moved up here. She moved up for a little while and decided to move back because she just hated me from the time that they laid their hand on her from that movement. And so that was years ago. And what happened was, when I was without my wife, I asked the Lord. I said, Lord, I don't want to have any trouble desiring a woman. I'm asking you to take it out of me. Take it out of me. And not only that, he gave me ED. There's no way I could have sex with a woman. I've had ED since that day, and I haven't had a
David,
desire.
I never said you had sex. I just said the dream. So, I mean, and you as well as I know, if you lust after a woman, if you've had, you know, it's adultery. God's just showing me that, you know.
You don't understand what you're dealing with there. You just talked to a witch. You say she's happy. Did you know she's happy to have sex with 12 different men?
It's ridiculous, David. It's ridiculous, David.
No, it's not.
David,
no,
I've been listening to stuff since 2008, and I've respected you. I've always loved you, and I still do. But it's like it's so much crazy stuff all the time you're saying, David. It's like all these different things, and I've just always went along with you to try to. I just endeavored to keep the unity of the Spirit and the bond of peace, and you know, if there's ever a disagreement, I always let you be right and stuff. But this is just wrong, David. The things that I've seen and the things that you've done on these videos and audios is just crazy.
Well, that's what she told you. And
no, she didn't tell.
Because you talked to those demons.
David, she didn't tell me nothing. I heard it and I saw it.
She isn't happy.
Well, that's irrelevant, David. That doesn't mean anything. But I know that she is because I've talked to her.
Okay, you want to listen to what the Lord told us before this started? The Lord told me that Eve was going to go through this whole thing with the Satanists and all the way to the bottom, because she is going to be a, what do you call it, when someone speaks up for someone else? She is going to experience it all.
You're not Satanist,
Do you
David.
know, don't you understand, listen, that Satan is how they gain their women. How they gain their women through osmosis. All of the Satanists do that. They choose their women. All over.
I don't know. Was that you or me?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, how they gain their women. All the Satan's groups are that way. They gain their women.
Hey, David, I'm getting a bad connection here. Are you in a bad spot?
No, I don't think so.
All right. There, it sounds better now.
Okay, let me move over here and sit down. Hold on a second. This is what's happened there. That's the women in previous factions happened to the women. The men were the ones that became the Satanists. The women, some of them, became witches. Eve became a witch, and the dreams agree with that. She is sending faction and witchcraft to people to attack them.
So you think
she is lying, and they're manipulating things. Listen, Eve is a whore.
So you think that she's just going to send a random email to your wife, confessing all this sin for just no reason?
Let me say something to you. That she said she was sorry for doing it. That is not Eve now. Eve has no conscience now.
No, she has a conscience, David. I've talked to her.
No, sir.
Yes.
I'm telling you the facts. The facts are she has sex with many men.
No, she doesn't, David. That's a
yes,
lie. You don't even know that. You have no idea. You're just saying that.
I do know that.
I do know
that. I do know that from the dreams. I know that from somebody on the inside who I cannot name. Somebody on the inside that knows everything. I've learned a lot from the person on the inside, and a lot from the angels who have reported on what she's doing.
David.
And the dreams. We've got all of these. Not just one. We've got all of these. We know what's going on.
It's not true, David. I don't know if you just don't.
Why are you so convinced?
David,
I'll tell you why.
Let me talk too. You get to talk. Now let me talk too. Before, I always let you talk. Just give me time to talk too. But go ahead right now. You can go what you need to say. I'm just saying, let's be respectful here.
Okay. What I'm telling you is the truth. What we have written is the truth. The person on the inside who knows every bit of it has confirmed it. What is going on is Kevin does not have any ability not to seek after sex with as many women as possible. And that's what he's doing. They have entrapped these women with osmosis and lust and faction and witchcraft, and some of these people know me. And some of them don't know me, but some of them do know me from past factions. Okay, this is happening. They have brought in men from the local government, and they are bringing them into the whorehouse.
No, Dave.
And yes, they have a building. This is from the person on the inside.
Well, whoever that person is you need to stop listening to him, David.
Okay, here's what I can tell you for a fact with our eyes. what he does, she was living in her house down there that she got back from Eddie. And whenever he wanted to have sex with her, he would call her and she would go to her apartment and he would meet her there. And especially on weekends, they went there and they lived together long before they ever so-called got married. It's an illegal marriage because of the demons that they heaped on her and caused her to like him. She would have never even thrown a stick at Kevin. She had no respect for him before. You don't understand the complete reversal that happened to this woman.
David, I always saw her as such a sad person at all the meetings, and now I see her as I've never heard her laugh more in my entire life in like one conversation.
Yeah, but you don't understand. The thing that makes her happy is sin. She is in the exact opposite of what she used to be. The things that makes her happy are all of the flesh. They're all sin. She is happy having sex with these different men. And we saw the fact that Kevin goes over there and meets her and stays with her in her apartment, except, during the week. Why does he, if he says he is married to her, why does he only meet with her part of the week? That's because he goes and has sex with these other women, the ones that they're whoring out. This is facts. This is from the inside. It's from the angels too. They said the same thing. Now, when listen what happens when faction entered into her. Listen to this. When faction entered into her, she renounced all of her dreams. All of her dreams, which were so accurate. She renounced all of her dreams. She renounced the angels that she met with, talked with, got understanding from. She renounced them.
Well, we all had those dreams. There's about 4 of us that had dreams against all that stuff, and you rebuked us all for having dreams. That was during the Garrett thing. You rebuked us all, even though what's their names? They live in South Africa, and you said that we're all receiving Garrett's demons, and they didn't even know Garrett. And we got rebuked for everything that we said about Eve. The dreams that we got.
For everything you said about Eve? I don't understand.
Remember we were, I don't even know what Garrett, he was upset about the angel thing, and I was trying to tell him to drop it.
Yes.
Because it's just drop it, it's not worth.
Do you know why he turned against the angels? Because he fell into faction. He started having faction dreams, one right after another.
Just because a dream is against you, David, doesn't mean it's a faction dream,
They were faction dreams. They were not the truth. I do not live there. That was not me. I'm just telling you. And yes, as soon as this happened, he started having these faction dreams and against the angels. Look at the people who don't believe in the angels. All of them are in faction.
I believe in angels. I believe in the angels. I don't know about the ones you're talking to, David.
That's the point. That's the point.
Okay, so just because I don't believe in the ones you believe in, that means I don't believe in angels?
No. Kevin believes in angels. None of them believe in these angels. They say these are fallen angels. But these angels have been right every time.
No, they haven't. I talked to Eve, and they haven't been right. She gave examples of how they've been wrong when they were talking to her. She gave examples, and I heard her in one of the audios telling you that.
No, they've been right. Let me explain to you. Okay? Angels don't talk in our time. They don't dwell in time. When they speak something, it's true. It doesn't mean that it's manifested yet. It means it is true. When in the beginning of this thing, when we got those revelations that we started sharing to declass the Satanists, which she's one of them, she's a witch. And so in the beginning, when I gave those statements out, we thought it was going to happen immediately, okay? Or it was happening immediately. That's what we thought. And the angel told me, he said, the reason we did not correct you on that is because everybody believed it was true at the time. Otherwise, people would say, when is this going to happen? When is that going to happen? That's just human nature. But they said because everybody believed it happened at the time, we were able to go and act on it. When we say something is true, it is true. We don't dwell in time. We speak it. When you spoke it, it was true. And now it's coming to pass. Right now, it's coming to pass. Okay, that's what the angels told us. It was coming to pass.
David, I don't need to get hung up on the angel thing, because whatever, you can, it's fine. I'm not like coming against you on that. If you want to listen, it's fine.
But what I'm pointing out, Gabe, is she is the exact reverse of what she was. She renounced everything she was, everything she did. She went around trying to cause people to stumble and fail. She said David doesn't have all his brains left. And she just said all kinds of crazy stuff. And that wasn't her. She had total respect for me. And she's lying now. She has faction on her. She is lying now.
So this woman is going to send these messages to your wife and say all this stuff and make herself look horrible. And
no, that does not. She does not have that conscience. She was acting as though she was confessing a sin that she had done. She does not have that conscience. That was totally Kevin.
I mean, that's your opinion, David. I believe she has a conscience.
Okay. Everything Kevin believes, everything he speaks, she believes. He spoke to her that way back at the beginning of this thing, when he started going to the 4 different factions he fell in, he said he was right and we were wrong. She believed it. She believed everything he says. That's osmosis. That's what it does. She believes everything he says. She speaks everything he says. Number 2, she got this revelation. Listen to this revelation. When she was having sex with Eddie, the demons spoke out of Eddie and said, we're going to be in you.
I believe that could happen. I don't doubt that.
No,
I don't doubt
that. It does happen. It did happen.
David, I just said I don't doubt that happened.
Okay, well, I'm going to continue. When she started having sex with Kevin, guess what? His demons were in her. This is Kevin you're talking to. It's not Eve. Let me explain to you what the Lord told us about you. I've got nothing but faith for Eve. I really don't. I have nothing but faith. The Lord told us he was going to bring her through this whole satanic thing, all the way to the bottom. You know what the bottom means? It means corruption, sexual perversion, everything. Everything that Kevin had in him, he pumped into her through sex. Just like Eddie. When Eddie was doing it, she would come over here, Michael and I would cast the demons out of her, and she'd go again. And then when she got around Eddie again, they came back on her.
David,
we would,
you
want a witness?
No.
Would you like a witness? There's
sir,
2 witnesses here.
If you would feel better, it's up to you.
There's 2 witnesses here. Michael was with me every time. I've never, listen, I have never been in a house alone with Eve in my life. When she came over here,
I don't. David, just let me say something about that, okay? You have to let other people talk. I don't doubt what you're saying, that you have not been in a house alone with her. I believe you when you say that. But I believe that you were kissing her, rubbing on her, having lust. Hey, and I probably would have done the same if I was in your position, David. I understand. Your wife's gone.
No, you're taking a witness that is not 2 or 3 witnesses.
Well, I have a dream too, David. I have a dream, and I have Eve's experiences.
Well, do you know what they've been sending against you? What did we get off of your son? Witchcraft. Where did it come from? Them.
David,
now
I have
you
no.
It back into your house. You brought it back into your house.
No, David. No, you are the one that sends it, David. It is you, David.
I'm not saying any witchcraft. That's crazy.
It's you, David. You will not confess this sin, and it's going to eat you up, man. It's going to eat you up.
I'll tell you what. Wait, watch, and see. Let me finish with Eve going to the bottom, okay? That's what the Lord told us. He told us not just because she disobeyed and went and had actual relations with these people until they...
I don't believe that, David. I don't believe you. I believe that you had a...
Listen.
Why? Why do I have to listen? I don't understand. Because you've told me this same stuff over and over, and you want to keep repeating it.
I'm not repeating. I'm trying to finish the story. You never let me finish.
It's because you just want to say what you...
Listen, we all had dreams here about Eve coming back. Even the little children, about Eve coming back. Healed, delivered, humbled, confessing her sins. We've all had those dreams here. Even the little children have had those dreams here. Okay, we know that she's coming back. We know that she's going to be
David, we're getting away from the main point, and it's your relationship with Eve, sir.
It's important. It's important. You got to let me finish.
No, sir, we're getting away from the main point here. The point is your relationship with Eve, David. That's it. She confessed
but
it.
I'm trying to tell you, Gabe, that the guy you used to know is the same guy is sitting in this chair.
I believe that.
I'm not that person. Listen,
David, I believe it. I'm not even hung up on if you did or my big thing is that you won't just own up to it. That's the only issue I have.
Let's see. Okay, let's see. Whenever I went to Eve's house to cast demons out of her or to get dreams from her to use in the program, whenever I went there, I took Michael with me. Every time. Unless he was out of town. If he was out of town, I would take Brandy or I would take Leon.
David, I know Michael's up in his room by himself and you're down there. I know the whole thing, dude.
But do you understand? The person that does that is incongruous with the person you're talking about. Why would I try to not just be alone with her in all these
David,
places?
I don't know what incongruous means. I don't know what that word means.
It does not fit. If I'm trying to have a relationship with her, it wouldn't be that way. Why would I be that way? Why would I be so careful to not ever be in her presence? I've never been in a car with her.
David, because you're a guy, and guys have those feelings, you know. You have this.
But I'm trying to tell you, I've never been in a car with her alone. I've never been in a house with her alone.
I don't doubt any of that, David. I never doubted any of that.
Well, doesn't that seem just a little bit unfitting with the picture she has put out about me?
David, all she said was that you kissed and everything like that and rubbed on her and different things, not in like private areas or anything.
No, I've never rubbed on her on any private areas.
I didn't say that, David. I didn't say that. I said except any private areas.
No, I think she used the term heavy-petted. There was no such thing. She is lying. I'm trying to tell you that.
I know, David, and you're doing your best.
You used to believe me.
David,
you're not believing me now.
You're right.
You have talked to her.
David, because it's the truth. I've seen emails from you. I've seen videos of you acting completely nuts on stuff, you know? It's all out there. I mean, if I could get around this and just be a coward and just back away and just, okay, whatever, here's another thing, and just like, okay, I would, because I'm not the strongest person. And so it would just be easier for me to just kind of back off and just let things happen. But I can't, David. It's just too much. I mean, with all due respect, sir, it's just too much.
There's no due respect. Your respect is gone.
No, well, it's hard when the actions that you've taken, David. I would still have respect for you if you could own up to this.
You're believing a lie. You're believing a lie. You think that what, and the reason is every time anybody talks to the faction, they believe a lie. And anytime they read their stuff, they believe a lie. It happens every time.
I don't know if you just don't remember anymore, David.
Why does it happen every time? Because you're receiving an accusation against an elder. You didn't do the 2 or 3 witnesses thing.
I did. I had a witness. I had the witness of my dream.
He never went through that process with me. They went right to 17.
No, she went right to you. She went right to you and Michael, 2 of you. I heard it, David. She went right to you, went right to the source of it.
Listen, I don't know what he's fabricated.
It's not fabrication, David. It's an audio recording.
Listen, Michael is going to tell you the same story because we were both there when we tried to cast the demons out of him.
David, I was there. I heard it. I heard everything. I was there, too.
No, you weren't.
No, you're right, sir. Sir,
okay,
you're right, sir.
I'm going to give this to Michael. Yeah. They have fabricated something because he did that with Eddie to make him divorce Eve. They have fabricated something because when me and Michael went over there to cast the demons out of her, there was nothing but one loud scream that was so loud, full of slander, full of lies.
No, David, I heard it all.
Yes.
I heard it all myself.
You didn't.
I did, David.
Yeah, but listen to the witness, okay?
Well, I heard it, David.
Oh,
Michael, you there, bud?
I don't listen. I'm telling you, he can fabricate anything.
So then he's fabricating your voice. He's fabricating Michael's voice.
This is Gabe. He talked to Eve. And now he's totally the opposite. Just like
I'm not totally the opposite, David. I'm not.
When you and I, when Michael and I went over there to cast the demons out of Eve, I don't know what he fabricated. But I can tell you what happened. Michael will tell you what happened. Tell him what happened. We went over there to cast the demons out of it last time. Hey, Gabe.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey. Nice and what a blessing Eve was.
Yeah.
Okay. That day that David and I went over there to pray for her, she manifested. And when I say manifested, this was somebody that I didn't know. It sounded like Kevin. And I'm honest with you, she was throwing spit out of her mouth. Her eyes were wide open. She was spewing garbage out of her mouth like I've never heard before.
Michael, I heard everything. I heard the recording. She recorded it. And she handled herself really well.
No, I don't think so. Sir.
I tell you what, Michael, David really handled himself poorly in that video. I'm too embarrassed to have my wife look at it. I mean, calling people little brain, idiot.
They fabricate stuff.
Okay, then David, then how does he get your voice to say these things? You're telling me Kevin is getting your...
Listen, I can tell you, like Gabe, I was there. I ain't lying. What you're hearing is not what went on. I'm telling you, I know. I was there.
Okay, Michael. I respect both you guys. Oh, go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, but listen to me.
Yes, sir.
What has happened since then is evil, very evil. Very, very evil. You don't know what's going on down there. All you're listening to is the faction telling you what happened. And I'm here to tell you that God is blessing us.
Michael.
They are in trouble.
Michael, let me just say something. I've seen emails. I've seen video recordings. I've seen videos. David sticking his tongue out at Kevin.
You're infected.
Michael, I'm just having to have a reasonable conversation with you, Michael. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm just telling you what I saw, and you're telling me that I'm affected, and I'm just trying to tell you what I saw.
Gabe, do you know one of the last demons we cast out of her before she left this house was an acting demon? Kevin has an acting demon and a seducing demon too. You're listening to acting and seducing. And he fabricated emails because he will only let the people that he wants to pervert see the emails. He does not show them to us because we would say, this is a lie. You put this together. They do that. He's done that. He puts audios together. He did it for us for years.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Gabe. Has David ever lied to you?
But Michael, I'm not around David a lot. I don't know. I just...
Here for 10 years, 11 years, 12 years.
But Michael,
12 years.
I heard it's... Go ahead, Michael. I'm sorry.
I said go yourself. I'm listening.
There's just such overwhelming evidence, and you guys expect me to just stick my head in the sand and just ignore it. It's just crazy to me, It's like it's not concerning that, And it's like I told David. I said, it's not a big deal if you kissed her or this. Things happen, you're a guy, I get it, but not owning up to it is the thing that's difficult for me. And calling her a liar when she's telling the truth and she's repenting to his wife and saying all kind, and trying to make things right.
She doesn't, that's not her. I'm telling you, she doesn't have a conscience.
David, she has a conscience. I've talked to her. She has a conscience.
No, talk to her. Listen to me, Gabe.
Talking to demons.
I don't know what to tell you. I've heard this before.
I know you have, Michael, because it's true. I mean, you have to embrace it at some point. That it's like
it's not true. I was there, Gabe. I was there. I was physically there.
I know you were, Michael. But I heard everything too. Okay.
Well, you heard fabrication.
I don't think you did, Gabe, because
yes, sir, I did.
And there's one more. Is one version of it that I've never heard before, and what I heard is what I heard.
Yeah, she told us when we talked to her recently that she just sat there calmly and tried to reason with us and so on. That never, ever happened.
She was up on her feet. Her eyes were wide open. Her mouth was spewing hatred and slander.
I never heard hatred and slander. She was emotional. I could tell she had been hurt. She'd been abused and been in situations, and she's just speaking from her heart. That's all I heard.
Well, Gabe, I'm sorry, but you're seriously wrong.
I disagree with all due respect, Michael.
Huh?
With all due respect, I just disagree with that. I was alarmed by some of the things that I heard.
Well, they fabricate things, Gabe. I'm telling you, go by the witnesses. The witnesses.
I know, David, but you're calling people idiots and little brain and insulting people, and it's really hard to listen to.
Have you ever heard me do that, Michael?
Not to my recollection, I haven't.
Well,
I'm telling you, they're fabricating this stuff.
Well, David, I don't know what to tell you, man.
You could say, yeah, you might be right, David.
David, because you're not. It's not true.
That's because you talk to Eve.
I don't know what to say, David.
You're in your house now, Gabe. Save yourself, save your wife, save your child. Those spirits are in your house now.
No, they're not, David. They're in your house, David. It's not true.
Well, let me say, there's some witnesses that are here every day.
But David, I heard things. I saw your emails. I saw everything.
No, you didn't.
And it's like I told you, I had that dream about you having a relationship with that woman in a closet, and you came out as leprosy, and it happened a year ago, and I just disregarded it, and I was like, no, that's just, I can't see.
You know who sent that dream to you? The faction did. I have never had relations with anybody but my wife.
David, like I told you, sir, like I told you, that I'm not saying that you had physical sex with her. David, let me finish. I'm not saying that you had physical sex with her. I'm just saying that I believe you had relationships with her, kissing, petting, things like that, heavy petting. I believe that, David.
Well,
And I'm not even hung up on it. I don't even, like I told you, my thing is like, just, if you did it, just own up to it. It's not a huge deal.
I'm trying to let you listen to the witnesses here.
I'm listening to Michael, and I respect Michael. I respect everything he's saying, but oh, go ahead. Sorry. I don't want to.
He's here all the time. Every day he's over here. He's never seen me lie to anybody. And he also sees all of our emails. And he doesn't know anything about what you're saying. I'm telling you, Kevin fabricates emails. He fabricated them in order to get Eddie to divorce his wife. He fabricated.
But David, you wanted her to not be with Eddie anymore. You wanted her to be with you.
No, sir.
Yes, that is true, David. You just admitted it earlier in the conversation that just give me a second, that you wanted, that you had got a revelation for God that you were supposed to be with Eve and married to her, which is fine. I'm totally okay. Just
in the future.
Sir, just let me finish. Just let me finish what I'm going to say. You had the revelation that you were supposed to be with God, or that you and Eve were supposed to be together. Eve, you said, had that revelation, which she's saying she got it from you, and then she got it later,
She didn't get it from me. She had the dreams. I didn't have the dreams. She had the dreams.
But let me finish, David. So I'm okay with you getting that revelation.
You didn't hear what I said. You didn't hear what I just said.
You're right. I didn't, David. Repeat it, please. Hold on, David. Back up just a little bit. I didn't hear what you said, so if you could just repeat it.
Okay. She had the dreams about our marriage. I did not have those dreams. She had those dreams. All of them. I still have them.
Yeah, because of the man-child bride parable and stuff like that.
Well, okay. But she believed.
But she did not believe that it was supposed to be physically. You know, we're a spiritual ministry. Everything you teach is very spiritual.
Gabe, I'm trying to tell you.
David, I have to talk too here. I have to explain what my reasoning is.
But you're saying something that's not true. She did.
David, all I said was that she believed that they were spiritual.
We all believed they were spiritual.
Yes.
Listen, please listen.
Yes, sir.
You're not listening at all.
I am listening, David. That's not true what you're saying. I am listening. Go ahead, please.
When we asked the Lord to confirm it because we were not going to accept it, we started having people in our morning meetings get references to David marrying this other woman. And over and over, we got Ruth marrying the older man. Over and over and over it came to us. And then the Lord said, I've already given you confirmations of it. We said, where? Those dreams that Eve had. She had the dreams. I didn't have those dreams.
But David, if you just let me finish, I think it would help your point here.
You didn't hear me.
I'm listening to everything you're saying, David. I'm trying to finish my point, but you won't let me finish my point. But if you need to finish yours, go ahead, David. I'll listen.
I'm just pointing out to you, it was not me that got those revelations. It was her.
Which she thought was spiritual, David, until you made it physical.
Wait. Now, I'm going to say this one more time. We all thought they were spiritual. It was not until we asked for confirmations that the Lord said to her.
Yep. I agree with you, David. I believe that.
You didn't let me finish.
But okay, you're right. But I thought I knew what you were going to say. But go ahead.
It was not until we asked the Lord for confirmations. We did not want to make a mistake. This, again, is about the future. It is not about now. Okay? It's about the future. Okay? And I don't know if that's going to come to pass now or not. I have no idea. It's not a plan.
David, just let me say this one point. It'll help. Like,
The point.
huh?
The point was, she had
You're not letting me talk, David. I'm trying to.
And it was at that time.
Okay, go ahead, David.
It was at that time the Lord said, I've already given you confirmations. She got that, and I got that. And we said, what are you talking about? The dreams about marrying together in the revelations that we thought were only spiritual. Okay? So we didn't have any problem with the Lord showing us something that there could be a physical aspect to it.
Absolutely, David. That's what I'm trying to say. That I'm okay with you having that revelation. I'm okay with that. And for all I know, it could have been God. I don't know. You know, you had the revelation, so I don't know how that works. And Eve, you said had it, and I believe in one of the things Michael said he had it, which is okay. The part that's not okay is the acting on, is moving too fast by being together, heavy petting, kissing, things like that. And even that's okay with me, David.
Where is your two witnesses? You must have two.
I have my dream, and I have Eve as a witness.
By that, you got to have witnesses.
David, you used that dream in 2011 with the Rob Stanley thing. You had two witnesses, and you used the dream too as a witness. Okay, you did the same exact thing.
Oh, I'll tell you this again.
And that's what they got hung up on, because you used a dream.
No, I didn't use the dream.
You did, David. It was Garrett's dream. I know the whole story. I was there.
I only gave that dream to Rob because he was doing that. And everybody around us. He joined with the homosexual group. Rion and them. Not Rion.
Chad Riles, who you're thinking of, probably.
No, Chad Riles was his partner that he went around with all the time. He was a bisexual.
Are you talking about your elders and stuff?
Children of God. They joined with the children of God to faction against me.
Oh, Rural Stewart is who you're talking about.
Because I gave Rob the dream. Did you understand? I gave Rob the dream.
David, I know what happened. You used that as a witness against him. That's why all the elders left. They were furious about that. That you used that as a witness against.
No, I'm trying to tell you, I only gave it to Rob. He blew up. I gave it to Rob.
That may be true. You might be right, David. I don't know, but it got to everybody is all I know. That might have been the first step.
Have you ever seen anybody in faction that didn't lie? They lied. I only gave it to Rob. It was only later when he continued doing what the dream said that I gave it to other people. Okay?
Well, yeah, that may be true, David. I have no idea, but the key is that you use that as a witness with your own confirmation.
We had 2 or 3 witnesses outside of the dream.
No, you didn't, David. You only had yours and that witchcraft witness, the dream witchcraft of Rob.
Yes. Okay, so here's the thing. He blew up because I gave him the dream that was against him and was true.
Well, that's the way I feel, the same way. And again, it's not a big deal. I'm not like hung up on what happened. I'm only hung up that you won't admit nothing about it.
You're trying to get me to admit something that you did not have 2 or 3 witnesses of.
I actually, it doesn't even matter to me if you do or not, David. I really mean that. I believe what she's saying. I believe that you did these things.
Listen, when the Bible says, receive not an accusation against an elder without 2 or 3 witnesses, he's saying, receive it not.
Okay, David, like I'll go over it one more time, and I'll go over another witness with you. I had, just let me finish, I had the dream witness. I had Eve's witness, and I had your own personal witness of stuff in those emails. And I have the witness of your behavior of how you've acted through this whole thing on the videos and the audio recordings. David, it's not good. You don't even have to worry about me. There's going to be other things with this. It's crazy.
Gabe, you don't have witnesses. The emails.
I just went through them, David.
This,
In a court of law, anybody, that would be, except for the dream.
work in a court of law. It is not going to work.
No, you're right. You're right, David. You're right. It's not about a court of law. I'm sorry that I said that. It has nothing to do with that. You're right.
I'm just trying to tell you, those emails will not hold up in a court of law.
Although they would definitely hold up in a court of law, David.
Fabricated.
In the kingdom of God, I thought we were talking about the dream you said won't hold up, but those emails would definitely hold up.
No, they won't.
Well, that's just your opinion, David. That's your opinion, and you're entitled to that opinion.
No, it's not an opinion. We knew this happened back when he was trying to separate Eddie from Eve. We knew he fabricated emails.
Well, it's your opinion. I don't believe that he's tried to separate Eve from Eddie.
Because, first of all, Eve...
I believe that you were the one trying to separate Eve from Eddie, because you're the one that said that you need to get away from him. I don't even know. I don't want to reword it because I don't want to get caught on a technicality. I'd have to look at the email and read it again. But you were the one enticing her to leave Eddie, David. It was you.
No, sir.
Yes, sir. It was you. It was you.
Gabe, I'm trying to tell you that Eve and I knew he was fabricating emails to Eddie.
Well, it might be because you told her, David. I don't. Oh, yes. Yes, sir.
Because he could not show. He told him, do not show these to Eve and David. Do not show them. Why? Because we could say immediately, this is fabricated. This did not happen. As a matter of fact, I've got the emails. So if somebody does that, they fabricate emails, which he did in the beginning. Eve and I both knew it in the beginning.
David, you're saying that I don't have witnesses, though, but that email's a witness, and I know you're trying to disregard it.
Not a witness because it's fabricated.
It's a witness, David. It's your email address sent to Eve saying stuff that should not be said, and in Eve's personal witness, I have you as a witness, and I have Eve as a witness.
Okay, here, let me share this with you. I got an email from two people in our Bible study, two honest, good people in our Bible study. I was suspicious. I called them up, and they said, no, we did not send that email. Okay? Because he fabricated it. He also, just not more than a week ago, fabricated an email. He sent it to Kathleen. He was asking if the leader of the assassins over there, he was pretending to be me. He sent it from my address. He sent it to Kathleen. And he was saying to Kathleen, trying to get information out of her, he was saying to Kathleen, if I send this to the evangelist, will the assassin get it? Because the assassin was getting his emails. He asked Kathleen that. So then Kathleen called me and said, well, this email you sent me is confusing. I said, well, tell me what it is. He told me what it was. I didn't send that email, Kathleen. I did not send that email. Well, he's been doing this. He's been sending,
David,
listen.
I'm listening, David.
An email from your address to someone else saying something to divide.
You know, David, Kevin had those emails when he left during that whole Missy thing, that situation. He left. Well, it's what Kevin and Eve told me.
Well, of course, they're both in faction.
Well, that's your opinion, David.
I'm trying to tell you, they're trying to frame me.
Well, David, I mean, it seems like you're doing a good job yourself, honestly, because there's so much against you, David. It's like no sane person, spiritually sane person, would just walk away from what I've seen and seen you do and say through stuff. And I know you say you're fabricating, but I don't believe that.
Tell him, you've lived with me, Michael, for how many years? Since 2011 or 2012. Tell him that You've never seen anything like that.
No, what you're listening to is Gabe, is a bunch of lies. I've sat here and listened to you and David both, and what I know is this: what you're saying is not what happened. I know that for a fact. And what you're listening to, in my opinion, is people trying to take you out and take the people around you out. I've seen it happen time and time again since I've been here. I've seen it every time. Every time.
Well, it happens a lot, Michael. David has to be, he cannot admit when he's wrong, and he has to be always right, so it's hard.
No proof that I'm wrong.
Like I've told you, I have tons of proof.
Witnesses.
I have you as a witness, David, through your emails. I have Eve as a witness. I have seen you on camera, sticking your tongue out at Kevin, acting just completely crazy.
No.
You were, David. It was embarrassing.
They made that up.
David, I can't make up a video of you.
I know. They can make up a video. He does it all the time.
Well,
he edited our videos.
Well, then you should have more compassion on me right now, David, because for you to be getting frustrated about this situation, that I'm believing this, it doesn't even make sense to me. If you really believe that it was all fabrication, you would know, like, okay, this is serious. We got to figure out how to remedy the situation, because he would have to be in Hollywood, David, to do what I've seen.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
He is professional at what he does. At hacking into people's emails, he hacked into Eve's phone and eavesdropped on her every.
Well, that's your opinion, David.
No. Let me just point this out to you. That one time I was talking to Eve and I heard a recording going, and I knew it was Kevin. So the Lord impressed me to provoke him. So I said to Eve, we just got to get Kevin a woman. I know it would be hard, but we just got to get him a woman. And he put an air horn up to the phone and blew the air horn. He got provoked. It was him. He was recording her and my conversation.
What did he say to you, David?
He didn't say anything.
Then how do you know it's Kevin? You don't even have any witnesses.
Okay, listen. Now listen. When Michael and I and Kevin and someone else, Missy, were all together with Kevin, we had called him on the carpet 4 times for trying to seduce a married woman.
I agree with that, David.
Oh, well, so now he's a saint, right?
I'm not saying anything. I just agreed with you that David, listen, I just want to make this clear. I don't know if it's confusing. I agree that you confronted Kevin about the Missy situation 4 times, a married woman.
I only pointed that out to say this. When he was stalking her, he would call her from an area code that was in her area. He always did that. And he gave messages. He was not supposed to be talking to her. She asked him not to call her. He would give her messages which were with his voice, and he left a phone number for her to call, and when she called the phone number, it was him. And he had been texting her and coming to her from a false phone number.
Well, I believe that. It's easy to do, It's really simple. You can, through a text thing, you can put any number.
But the server, what was it? Which one was it that said they would make sure he never worked in the tech industry again? That's the people that she reported him to, which was how much? Yeah.
You're
Well,
breaking up, David. You're breaking up again.
Okay. Sorry. But anyway, he was stalking her. He even had another factious person call her home and talk to her husband and ask, "Are you still happily Missy?"
David, the phone's breaking up. I can't hear.
Okay. When
That's better. That's better.
when Kevin had a guy that came here who fell into faction, he became a Mormon. And he had him call Missy's house and talk to her husband and ask him, is she still happily married? He was doing that for Kevin. Kevin was still going after her, even when she went home and she was having a good relationship with her husband. She did that. He don't care about when Amber, when he called Amber up in the middle of the night to try to seduce her twice in the middle of the night, it was when she was engaged to bring it. Then she rebuffed him, and then Philip called her up twice in the middle of the night to try to seduce her. So she became a witness, okay? Number two, they just recently, before Amber died, by the way, they were sending witchcraft against Amber to kill her because she was a witness. And this is a witness too. Philip, Selah, brought their little girl Miriam. You probably remember Miriam. She was smarter than Philip. She tried to correct Philip. Papa, no, please, Papa, no.
I agree.
When he got up,
I remember that. I mean, during when Philip was having a tough time in the fellowship meeting, I remember her saying that.
Okay, that was a sweet little girl.
Yes.
This little girl that came over to Amber's house was a boy. I'm telling you, there was no way you could see anything but a boy. Philip wears a long ponytail now.
David, this doesn't have any bearing on what
I'm
the
trying
issue
to
is.
tell you why he does this. He's taking out the witnesses. She was a witness of these things. Do you know why Satanists pass on their
He's
gifts?
not a Satanist, David.
Yes.
That's just your opinion on the situation.
No, sir. No, sir. God revealed to us that they were Satanists. We asked the angels. They agreed. We had the dreams. They agreed. We didn't tell people before they started having those dreams about that. They all agreed. Everything agreed. They are Satanists.
Well, David, you're using those two witnesses, the angels and the dreams, and they're not even people. And I'm using real emails, a real person, and emails that you sent.
You keep saying that.
Because it's the truth, David. I keep embracing you with the truth. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to stick to the basics.
So you're calling a false email the truth.
Well, that's your opinion, David. You're entitled to believe that. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm not. I'm just telling you from my side of the story what I see and what's going on, and it all makes sense. And like I told you, I don't even have anything. It's the issue with you and her is not even like a big deal that you even did that. It's just that you're just completely lying that it never happened. That you didn't have any situation with her at all.
You have no witnesses for that.
I do,
Nobody.
David. I have Eve, and I have your emails.
Witness. Eve had fallen into faction.
Well, that's your opinion, David. That's totally your opinion.
Did he fall into faction, Michael?
I'm sorry?
Did he fall into faction? He said that's my opinion.
No, it's not an opinion. It's the truth.
Okay, well, it's your opinion too, Michael, and I respect both of your guys' opinions.
Do you understand what faction is?
I do, sir. I know, and I see it happening right now.
Okay. I'm through talking with him because I can see he's already made up his mind.
Michael, I mean, you don't have to stop talking to me. I mean, I'm trying to talk normal to you guys. I'm trying to.
No,
to,
you're
no.
going off and you're slandering me.
I'm not slandering you,
no
David.
witness.
I'm not slandering. You're slandering Eve.
You have no witness.
I do, and I keep telling you, but you refuse to embrace the truth, David. You refuse it.
You have Eve who believes Kevin.
I have Eve, and I have your email, and I have a dream about you with a woman having relationships and coming out as leprosy. And you didn't even care that you were doing that to the girl. It didn't even faze you in the dream.
Where did that come from?
What?
Where did the witchcraft that came over your son that I cast it off of him, where did that come from?
What does that got to do with anything, David? I don't agree with you. I've told you many times I don't agree with you.
I'm telling you, they targeted you. They have targeted you.
Well, you're the one that won't own up to his sin, David. You're the one that won't do it.
But you haven't got to witness.
I do, and I can't keep telling you the same thing, David.
Who are they? Who are they?
I told you, it's Eve. It's your own email. You, David, you and Eve are my witnesses. How you behaved on that video. I have the dream. That all of it, David, points to this.
I'm going to tell you, I've never done what you said. Stick my tongue out at Kevin.
Well,
it's just they made it all up.
Well, you didn't deny it.
He sits down and fabricates. He sits behind a computer to try to hack into everybody's everything.
Well, David, you just can't own up to anything, man. You just can't own up to anything.
Well, you accepted it, and you made a mistake because you don't have two witnesses.
Well, that's your opinion. I have 4 witnesses, David. You get to use dreams, but nobody else gets to use dreams? That doesn't make any sense.
No, you need 2 witnesses.
David, you do not. You just use an angel. You just use an angel and a dream. You didn't even have a person as a witness against whatever situation you were just talking about. Something about Kevin or Eddie, I don't even know.
I told you we have a witness on the inside.
Well,
of everything.
Yeah, I know. There's always somebody inside, quote unquote. There's always somebody, David, that you don't say who it is or don't know.
So now I'm a liar, right?
David.
You have 2 witnesses that I ever did anything like that to Eve. You cannot take her 2 witnesses because she is berserk.
No, you're berserk, David. You're acting completely berserk, and it's really sad, David. It's really sad, man. You're acting berserk. Like, it's crazy, you know? Because I see an email from you to her, emails from her to you. I hear her testimony. I see how you're acting on videos and on audios. I have dreams against you, and I have all this information, and you say that I'm like I'm not right. That it doesn't make any sense, David.
It doesn't make any sense. You received it without 2 witnesses.
Well, I just told you I had 4, and you're unwilling to receive it, even though you do the exact same thing, David.
2 people that see the sin. You do not have that.
I do, David.
No, you don't have 2 people who saw the sin that I'm being.
Oh, well, that's true. I don't have 2 people that saw the sin, but I do have your emails that confirm it.
No,
so,
you don't.
Well, that's okay. I can't reason with you if you're like, no, I don't.
You know what? They're not going to send those emails to us because there are witnesses over here.
Well, David, you've already deleted them. There's no. What good would it do to send them? It's like there's nothing that you like. Oh, those are not ours.
What are you talking about? Deleted them? I've got her emails.
I'm just saying, David.
Listen, I have her dreams. When I told her I had her dreams, they thought they had taken them out. Because here's what happened. When she factioned out, Michael and I and Brandy went over there to get our equipment so we could carry on what she was doing with someone else. Kevin was in there. He was living with her.
Yes, to get your stuff. Yes, I saw all that.
No. He stayed there for 2 weeks, going through all of my stuff, deleting what they wanted to delete. They didn't know that we got a copy of all of it. And so when I told her, I've got a copy of all those dreams, then her eyes got real big because they had planned to do something with those dreams.
Okay, David, I don't know what to say. I've said the same thing. It seems like tons of times, and we're not getting anywhere.
If you don't,
David, you're breaking up. I can't hear you.
Witnesses, you are not to receive to your mind at all.
Well, David, when there's accusations against you, and I have 4 witnesses against you, that's pretty good. David, you're breaking up. I cannot hear you.
A witness is a person who sees.
David, can you move to a different spot? I can't. You're breaking up so bad I can't hear you.
Okay, how's this?
That's good.
Okay, a witness is somebody who sees the sin. That is a.
But David, you do this all the time. You use angels and
I
dreams.
just got through telling you we've got witnesses that he has done this evil.
Well, you've only said you had 1. Now you're saying witnesses, and about. Okay, I see what you're saying on your the recent thing that you said.
Michael, Randy, people that are here every day, they're here. They know me. They know I have never done anything like that.
Well, I mean, I don't think they would see it. I believe them that they didn't see anything, and I don't know what Michael saw.
So you don't witness. We know witnesses because they witnessed that I'm not that person. Why was I so careful to and I do this with I did it with Missy. Missy came over here to cut her hair. Michael got up and walked out the door. I said, "Michael, come back here." She remarked that, that I wasn't going to be alone in the house.
I agree that you were never alone in the house, but I think you went over and sat on her porch when Michael was gone and stuff like that.
I've never gone in her house.
I didn't say you went on her house. I said you went on her porch.
I've gone over there and eaten a meal with her.
I never said that you went into her house, David. I said that you went over and sat on her porch.
Why would I not go into her house if I had that kind of frame of mind? A preacher came up here to borrow a tool from me. Eve was sitting out on the back porch because she was coming to do some get ready for a broadcast. And she was sitting out on the back porch. And he came over. We walked across there. He saw her. He said, well, what's she doing here? I said, well, she's one of the people that puts our programs together. And she's sitting out here because I don't let a woman come into our house unless unless Michael is there.
I believe that, David. I never doubt that. I don't understand why.
That doesn't fit with your scenario.
Well, it fits because Michael has a room upstairs and you two are alone by yourself and things happen, which I'm not even making a big deal about. It's not even...
Michael don't stay in that room. His door is open. He walks in and out all of the time. If anything, and we don't move from
Well,
here.
that might be true, David. I'm sure he does. I don't live with him, so...
On the couch. We sit on the couch. We got our computers. We figure out what we're going to use and not use.
I believe that.
We interpret it. We put it together.
Yeah.
All that. It's business. It's been business. And when Michael comes out, that's all he ever sees. He's never seen what you say.
I believe that he hasn't. I never said that Michael did.
So you have no witnesses.
Like I told you, I'm not going to go through it again, David. If you don't want to listen, that's fine.
Okay, but you have to admit you don't have witnesses.
I do. I'm admitting to you that I have 4, David. According to your standards, according to your standard, David, of dreams and different things, I have 4 witnesses against you.
Listen, those things all come, but they are not witnesses.
Well, you've used them before. I'm just playing your game with this, David. That's all I'm doing. And I'm not even playing a game. I'm just...
Okay. Let me say this. Have you received a witness against me about that heavy petting, as she said, without 2 witnesses? Yes. Yes. You did it. And you let the demons in.
No, David. No.
Yes, you did.
If I listen to you, then I'm going to let them in, David, because it's like that you won't admit this when a woman's crying and
they're good at that. She's good at that.
Okay, I shouldn't have said that, David, because I knew that you wouldn't respect that at all. So
listen, I'm telling you.
I know that demons can do that, David. I know. I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. That's not going to hold up in our conversation. I realize that, and I'm sorry.
Well, let me say this. One of the last times she was here that we got demons out of her, because she came to the point where we weren't getting out of her anymore.
You're breaking up, David. You got to move back to where you were.
She was radically different. We got to the point where we were.
David, move. You're breaking up again.
Yes. Is this?
No.
How about this?
Yes, that's good.
Okay. We got a word of knowledge. She had an acting spirit. The acting spirit is her putting on the show. That word of knowledge, we were asking the Lord, why are we not getting this out of her? And she seems like she wants to be right, And then Michael got the word of knowledge that there was an acting spirit there. And she was. She was coming over here acting. For the last 2 months, she had been having sex with Kevin.
Well, I believe that about the acting. Michael was right. I think Michael was right. She was acting to so that she didn't have to deal with you coming against her, David. Because to be around, you have to agree with everything with you, David.
He was trying to act as though she didn't have those spirits in her. She wanted to hold on here as long as possible, but she had the spirits because everybody came to us.
Well, David, you've been years casting out demons out of Eve, and
everybody came to us.
David, you can't just dominate the conversation. There's two people talking. We have to be able to talk to each other.
You cut me off in the middle of a word. I said everybody came to us and witnessed to us what she was saying to people, which was faction. Everybody she talked to, she was downing me. She'd never done that before.
I believe everybody said that. I believe all that. I believe they felt that, and they knew that something wasn't right as Eve because she wanted to get out of this abusive relationship that she was in.
That's right.
And I believe that they picked up on that, and I believe they saw that, and they reported that to you. I believe that.
She was slandering me, and she was trying to push Kevin's books off on our people. And they knew better. They knew it was just psychiatry and psychology. That's what he's been studying. Satanists cannot study the Word. They do not study the Word. They put it down.
He's not a Satanist,
that's
David.
what's going on.
He's not a Satanist. That's just your opinion, and that's just not true.
Yeah, you're very sure, but I know why you're very sure. Because you've let those spirits in.
No, if I listened to you, then I'd let those spirits in. I disagree with you.
You let them in, all right, because you're so convinced. You can't even listen to what we're saying
David, I have been listening to you for almost 2 hours. I'm supposed to be at work, and I take the time to listen to you. I've tried to respect you. I've tried to treat you right. I've tried to listen, but I've also tried to get my points in. And sometimes you talk so much that I can't get my points in as well.
You know what? Here's going to be the proof, if you will listen, okay? Eve is about to come back and repent for all she's done.
She hasn't done anything wrong, David.
Wait, please, stop.
But I'm just talking with you, David. It can't just be you talking.
Let me finish my statement. My statement is this. Eve is about to come back. She's going to recant everything she did. She's going to have her eyes opened, just like all of our revelations about her have said. And she's going to have a witness to be able to help women who were seduced into satanic covens. because the whole country is full of women that have been seduced into satanic.
Well, I believe that you've done that, David. You seduced her into being with you. Even if you had the revelation, you should have just sat on it. You shouldn't have done anything. But you sent those emails to seduce her and get rid of Eddie, and said something bad's going to happen to her children if she doesn't. And
said that.
Yes, you did. I saw the email, David. You sent the email.
I did not send an email like that. I've never said it.
Okay, well, that's, I didn't expect you to agree with it, but I've seen the email, David. What am I supposed to say? Like, no, it's not. It doesn't make sense.
You're supposed to say, I'll wait and I will see.
What do you mean? They're all over the place. There's so much evidence mounted against you.
No. Here's what you're going to find out. That you believed a lie.
No.
If you don't, no. Wait. If you wait, you're going to see that she is going to repent, because the Lord has already shown us it. She is going to repent. She is going to come back. She's going to be the former Eve. She's not going to be dressed up like a harlot anymore. She's not going to have brown, straight hair so she can go and visit these men. She's not going to have that anymore. We've seen the two Eves. We have seen the two different Eves.
Well, I tell you what, I hope the other Eve doesn't come back, because this Eve is really sweet and nice, just like the other one was, but the other one was miserable because you were abusing her. And
how many factious people have you seen that are sweet and nice to you and then turn around and backstab me?
Well, she's been sweet and nice. She's not even backstabbing. She's just confessing her sin. That's all she's doing.
No, she's not confessing the sin.
How is she back?
If she was confessing a sin, she would confess that she slept with Kevin for 2 months before she left here. And then she lived on and off with him, and still lives on and off with him, even though they claim they're married. And that's because he's still visiting those other women.
Well,
and she knows
that's your opinion, David.
And she knows this, and it's okay with her.
No.
Anything Kevin does is okay with her. Anything. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Wait and see. It's about to happen. They're being judged, and the pressure that's being put upon them is going to bring them to repentance.
I don't believe they're being judged, David. They're not in any sin, David. You're the one that won't confess your sins to see, so that you can have mercy.
So you believe that, but you don't believe anything I've said.
I don't, David. I'm sorry. I just don't. It doesn't make any sense what you're saying. You don't have any proof. You have dreams and angels for your proof, which it just. And I know you've had other witnesses. I can't just say that. You're right. I'm sorry. But you have had some witnesses to certain things.
Nobody can witness that character in me. Nobody has witnessed that character in me.
David, it's not a bad character if you fooling around. I mean, it is. It is a bad character, but it's forgivable.
No. The character that they have displayed me as, me sticking my tongue out at him and being ugly and all that stuff.
Well, David, that's on video. That's what I've seen with my own eyes. No one said that. I've just seen it.
He's cutting and pasting things.
Well, he's doing, like I said, he's doing a great job, and I believe it's real. David, it's like you.
Okay. Let's get back to what I was
saying.
If
the shoe was on the other foot, you would never believe me if I was saying what I was saying with all the evidence that I've seen. If you had it,
if I had faction on me, I would believe it.
Well, that's
what faction does. As soon as it enters in, it changes your mind. It changed her mind. Listen,
David. Listen, I want to say this. I need to say this. After I saw that email, it wasn't a huge deal. It wasn't. I went back to ministry and reading stuff and different things like that, and I still go. It's like it's just the thing that was crazy is your reaction to everything, and it makes you look so guilty, and it's like, and all the witnesses against you, And I'm not saying it's people. I'm saying the dream, the emails, the Eve. It's impossible to ignore, David.
Well, we just explained to you our experience with Kevin and what he can do.
Well, and I've just explained to you my situation.
Yeah. So let's settle on this. You wait and see if she doesn't change her mind in the very near future completely. God told us she was going to go through this thing all the way to the bottom.
Did you just want me?
When he means bottom, he means a consciousness. She doesn't have a conscience.
She does.
That was a fake conscience when she said that to my wife. That was a fake conscience.
Well, I disagree, David.
She does not have that. Michael and I know this. The people here know this. And that's because they talked to her before she left.
I believe she has a conscience. You know she's always been a sweet woman, David. Always been.
Not a sweet woman.
Well, that's your opinion.
Here's one of the last things she did before she left. She's never done this before. She walked around with a camera and took a picture of everyone, every individual, and she was planning on leaving the next day.
Well, it's probably because she wanted a picture of everybody, David, to remember, because she loves them.
Let me explain to you what they do, what the Satanists do. They do voodoo. Voodoo, you use voodoo with pictures or dolls or things like that. They use that to send witchcraft to our people. We know because we fought it off of them. Voodoo, they use voodoo. She got those pictures in order to do voodoo with Kevin.
All right, Dave, we've kind of hit a gridlock moment.
No, you're being influenced by those spirits because you didn't obey God. You received an accusation against an elder without witnesses.
No, it's not true, David. I have you as a witness, and I have your email as a witness, Eve, your testimonies, or those videos. I have the dream. I have plenty of witnesses, like I've told you many times. But I know that you can't hear that. So we're gridlocked right now, David.
The whole world knows today that a video is not a witness. They can use...
David, I believe it was real. I believe everything was real. And I don't know, we don't have to keep going back and forth with these same topics. You know where I stand, I know where you stand. And so there's this, I mean...
Do you know what they can do with videos now?
David, I do know, but I don't believe that at all.
It's free. It's out there right now. You can go use it right now. You can use it right now. You can have anybody say anything, and in a video, they can do it right now, and you can use it. In fact, it's part of it's free. You can just use it. That's what they've got now. And it's out there free. And he's a techie. He knows how to use that stuff. I'm just telling you.
I understand, David. I understand your side.
No, you don't.
I do. I've been listening. I understand what you think and what you believe. Just because I don't agree with you does not mean I don't understand you.
Do you know the software I'm talking about?
Yes, I know that you can do stuff like that.
Yes, it's.
But I don't believe that happened, David. So.
Well, I can tell you that that's not my attitude at all. It's never been my attitude towards her or to her children. It's never been that way. I always tried to help her. Me and Michael helped her for years.
I believe it, David. I believe it. I believe you. You, me and Michael, you do a lot for people. I'm not denying that.
I'm saying we've cast these demons out of her before.
Well, like I said, I think she just has to agree. It could be something, and she just has to agree so that she has to agree with you to move on with her life. We've all been there, David. I've been there.
You're tweaking it. You're just tweaking it.
Well, I could be. You're right. I don't know what exactly happened in some of those, so you might be right about that. I can't really speak to that.
Well, she's going to repent, and it's not going to be very far down the road either. It's going to be very near.
I just don't think that's going to happen, David.
I'll make you a bet. I'll make you a bet. I'll tell you what, when it does happen, she's going to come to you and say, we lied.
David, I just don't. That's just not going to happen, David.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
No, sir, it's not.
Well, why would you be so confident of that? You don't believe she can repent?
David, have you heard anything? Have you understand anything that I've said to you? It's like...
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you where you got it from. This guy is doing that. He was doing that a long time ago, before they had this kind of technology out there. He was doing that. He was changing our audios, our videos, you know, taking things out, putting things in. He was doing that. He knows how to do that. He does a real good job of it. But it's not so that you can't tell it. That's why I'm telling you, it won't hold up in court. So he's been doing that. We know of his technique. We know of his expertise. We know of his recording. We know of his seducing our women. We know of him taking Lakeisha, trying to get Lakeisha to run away with him when she was a teenager. We know of that. We know of the...
Well, Tanisha, she was of age. She was never a teenager when she was here.
Yes, she was.
No, I don't think she was, David. I could be wrong, but I don't think she was when she first got here.
When he tried to seduce her to carry her off, she was a teenager. I think she was about 19.
Oh, well, maybe. I don't even know. It doesn't matter.
Then
But
you had the situation where he was shacked up in that house with two other men and a woman. And when I affected him with that, he looked totally guilty.
Yes.
Because I talked that to his face.
Well,
he was guilty, and he was proud of himself.
Well, Kevin has had his moments. I'm not saying that. I'm just...
He never had a moment. The moment would have been if he had gotten saved. Then it would have been a different situation.
David, we've all made mistakes. And some are more grievous than others.
All of the physical fornication, you're totally overlooking for something you don't even know happened.
David, I never said... you're... Okay, yeah. You're talking about Kevin's physical.
All of the physical evidence. How many people... We had 5 people had a dream that he was attempting to molest them. And 2 of them were a husband and wife who had the dream the same night. He was molesting the wife. They both had the dream the same night. Now we know how they're trying to do it. They used that witchcraft to take the woman over. They've tried to do that with the wife. He's got this stuff that Philip had where they know exactly where you are. They put it in your phone. They know exactly where you are at any moment, at any time. Philip, showed us when Sheila ran away that he could tell you exactly where she was.
Yeah,
exactly
I believe that you can do that.
Well, he got that from Kevin. That's what Kevin does when he stalks people.
Well, David, it's obviously your opinions on that stuff. So. Oh,
stalking people? No, it's not an opinion.
I mean, Charlie riding, seeing him on the motorcycle, that was just kind of crazy, that's kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah? Well, I've got something I can tell you as soon as Charlie is free from all of that, and he's going to be a witness too.
Okay.
Because Kevin
I'm not even interested in the points about Kevin. It's it's not what we're really talking about.
You don't understand. You're not talking to Eve. You're talking to Kevin.
I'm talking to Eve, David.
Everything Kevin says, she believes. Everything. She gave up all of her dreams. They were all lies. All of her. She had one of the most accurate dream histories of anybody.
She didn't give them all up. I heard her say it. She gave up to the ones I can't remember.
No, sir. She left here saying she did not believe in dreams anymore. She renounced
No,
dreams.
that's not what I heard.
She renounced all of her dreams when she left here.
That's not what I heard. That's not what I heard.
Okay, because that's what she wanted you to hear.
Okay, well, I heard your voice and her voice, so it was pretty clear that she didn't renounce all the dreams, and she explained it to you, that she didn't renounce all of them. She did have some good. She had some good dreams. A correction about me.
That conversation we had. I'm telling you, he manipulated that. That's not a conversation we had. It's just not. They're putting this stuff together.
Okay, David. You said it so many times. You know that I don't agree with that.
I'll let you go. You don't have two witnesses that open the door for these spirits to come in.
I have witnesses, David. And you know that I have witnesses. Deep down, you know that I have witnesses. I have 4.
No, you don't. Witness is somebody who sees the sin.
Well, David, how can anybody... I mean, I have your witness, your email of sending stuff. But not with the heavy petting like you said. You didn't... I don't... Well, I hadn't...
Yeah.
But I saw the emails of you coercing her away from Eddie and taking a chance with you, trusting God.
That never happened.
Well,
that never happened. I asked the Lord. I said, Lord, are we doing anything to endanger her relationship with Eddie? I was counseling them both in the beginning. Eddie wouldn't work for a living.
I agree. Eddie was not a good person, David. I know.
Well, you're just not listening.
Okay, you're right. Sorry.
He was not a good person at all. He was in faction. She said he'd been in faction all of his life, and so his family was too. They were constantly at war.
Yeah, I believe it.
Okay, and so I was counseling them together. I never tried to separate them. Never, ever tried to separate them. That just wasn't in my mind. I would not do anything dishonest like that.
Well, you were telling her.
Anything you heard contrary to that is a lie. It's fabricated.
You were telling her that she's going to lose her children if she doesn't get away from Eddie and stop talking to him.
No.
Yes.
Here's what I told her. In 1 Corinthians chapter 7, the believing parent sanctifies the child. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, the believing parent. And what I told her was, if you receive traction from Eddie, that will be 2 people that are not believing. I said, you need to stay clean. And I told her that. I never told her to separate from Eddie. I told her that if you receive from him what those demons said to you, then both of you are going to be unclean. You can't sanctify your children. Now, the proof is her children are both in faction. When the Bible says the children are sanctified through the believing parents, it means you got to have at least one believing parent. That's what I told her. What I was telling her.
Well, she obeyed your advice, and she ended up not having them, David. She ended up. She said, they're not even with her. She had to apologize and repent to them, and I think now they're finally talking to her again.
Well, I told her the way she was going about it was not the way to get them back, because God had given her dreams that they were going to come back to her. So I just told her the way to go about it is you can't get infection and get it back. Then both of you are in unbelief. Eddie's been in faction, and she admitted to me he was a bisexual.
I believe that, David. I believe that.
So what I was talking to her about is, Eve, you cannot do this. And the reason I told her that is because she kept coming over here, and I'm going to go right in here where Michael can hear what I said. Okay? And the reason for that is she kept coming over here with faction and witchcraft on her, and we would cast it out of her. It happened over and over and over. Every time she went over and got around Eddie, and especially when she got around Kevin, she would get faction on her. And I would tell her, you can't do this. You have to stay clean. You have to do what the Bible says. A factious person after a first and second admonition refuse. You're not refusing. You're talking to them.
Well,
And she was expecting us to just keep casting them out, keep casting them out, keep casting them out. Michael will tell you the same thing. Michael's right here standing beside me. We just kept casting them out, until we came to the place where God was not cooperating. And they would not come out. And the last time, she totally lied. He fabricated that whole thing. Michael and I was there. She screamed at us just as loud as you can scream.
she did not scream as loud as she can at you, David. I heard it. I heard everything that was there.
Kept distance. The witnesses, we were there.
I heard it, David. She did not scream at you.
So Michael is lying and I'm lying.
Well, I don't know if what you guys. I did not hear any screaming in all of the audio. There was no screaming.
Of course not. I'm trying to tell you.
I understand, David, but I keep telling you I don't believe that. I believe I heard everything, and I understand how it can be construed as screaming when she's passionate, going over a point, but it was not loud. It was just her.
No, sir. No, sir.
Well,
it was the loudest scream I've ever heard.
Yeah, David, that's just not true.
Was that the loudest scream you've ever heard out of her? I've never heard it before. It was the loudest scream. And listen, she was screaming until we went out the door. And she was saying the same thing Kevin's been saying.
Just to be clear, it's the struggle session that you had with her, right? That session where you came over?
The last session, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's the one I heard. Just to be clear, I wasn't for sure if you guys had a different moment.
What you got there is a fabrication.
It's not, David.
Well, it is. He just told you it was.
But David, I listened to it too.
You have to have two witnesses.
But David, I heard it with my own ears, David.
God.
I know that you're going to say he fabricated, he did this, he did that.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that, David. I do not believe that happened.
What is your foundation for that?
Because I heard it, David. I've seen your emails. I've heard her witness. David, we keep going around in the same things. Like, I don't know what we're trying to achieve,
You believe something because you heard it. But you won't.
I believe something because I heard a witness. I heard it. I saw emails and the dream. So I don't know what.
Yeah. Well, Father, I just ask you in Jesus' name to deliver Gabe from this deception and let him listen to the witnesses who never lied to him. And they were there, and the rest of it's a fabrication. And Lord, I just ask you in Jesus' name to open Gabe's eyes. I know that when he disobeyed your word, and he received that accusation.
Didn't disobey your word, disobey his word. I didn't. Yeah. God knows I didn't.
You did. You read that.
That's your word, David. You factioned her out. You're the one, David. It's not her.
The whole thing. You said, yes, I did. Okay. So
David, first of all, you're the one that forced her to leave by your abuse. Why would I obey anything if somebody's doing that? It doesn't make any sense.
There's no abuse here. We were helping her.
Well, that's your opinion, David. That's your opinion. I have a different opinion of that. And I believe that you and Michael both helped her a lot. I believe that. But I believe that you did stuff that you shouldn't have done with her. I believe that you helped her. I believe Michael helped her. I believe you guys help everybody as much as you can. You guys are dedicating your life to service, to helping other people. I believe that. But David, I can't deny everything that's going on.
Well, I can't help you, but the Lord can, so I'm sad.
I'm sad too. Well, I mean, it's not that I'm sad. It's just like, it's, I don't know what it is.
Okay, I will tell you what I just told you, and you're going to see it. You're going to see her repent, because God showed us that. He said when he brought her to the bottom, she was going to be there to observe what's happening, because she is going to be an advocate for women all across the world who are captured by Satanists and by witchcraft and by voodoo and by Asmodeus and made slaves and made sexual slaves. She didn't like him at all. At all.
I believe that, David. I believe that.
Well, what switched her around? One thing, the demons that he
I think your situation, David, the situation you had with her, I think it switched her around.
There was nothing negative about our situation.
Well, I didn't say it was negative. It was probably felt good for both of you,
No, we didn't do anything bad to her. We only helped her. We did it for years. I'm telling you, for years.
I believe that you helped her, David, but I believe that there was extracurricular stuff. We went over this so many times, David.
Okay, but you have no right to believe something.
I do have a right. I keep telling you that I have 4 witnesses and you refuse to accept them, and there's nothing I can say about it.
That's not a witness. Go look up witness, Gabe.
David, you do the same thing, David. You will use a dream. I have emails from you, David. I have a person. You are a witness, and she is a witness. I do have people. I have your own writing and emails, and I know you're going to say Kevin fabricated it, but I don't agree with that.
Okay, that's what I'm getting to. I'm just going to say, wait and see. Very quickly, very soon, you're going to hear the opposite story.
I disagree.
And she's going to be an advocate for the women that are trapped in that thing right now.
I think she's already an advocate, and she's helping now.
No, she's slandering me. And I don't even hold it against her. I told her, I don't hold any of this against you, Eve. I believe you made a mistake when you went down there, because you took things into your own hands and they took you over. Your sin was you disobeyed the Lord, you disobeyed his dreams, and you disobeyed...
It's not disobeying the Lord. She was not...
Wait a minute.
Yes, sir.
That was your sin, Eve. Your sin, as far as the fornication and all that stuff, that's going on Kevin, because he forced you into that. That's not your sin. That's Kevin's sin. Your sin is you rebelled against the Lord to go down there and save your sons. And God said, don't do it.
Well, I'm glad she's doing whatever she's doing is right, because she's reconciling with them. So it's finally things are setting in motion where it's actually something happening instead of them just ignoring her.
Do you know how she can reconcile with them? They both have faction on them. Her oldest son left there with his girlfriend. He left in faction.
Well, I don't know what they have and what they don't have, David. I don't know what's going on with them, but...
You understand when one person falls into faction...
David, just because somebody disagrees with you does not mean they're in faction.
But listen to me. If one person falls into faction and the other person has not, they have disagreement. When they both fall into faction, they fall into perfect agreement. That's what happens every time.
I believe it if it's real faction, but just because they disagree with you does not mean somebody's in faction. It can be like if you said something about Trump, that would be like against that. Then you would say that person's in faction.
You know what? Our assembly heard the things that she said. They all know she's in faction. They personally know she's in faction.
She's in disagreement with what's going on down there with you.
Trying to push psychology off on people is not that. She was forgetting the Bible completely.
Well, I don't know what the psychology stuff you're talking about, but
yeah.
I know that she needed out.
They took out Rion and Claire. They took them out. They put the faction they put that same stupid books about Kevin, who he passed around, psychology and psychiatry books, on them.
David, I heard your session with them. They were very kind to you. They were very sweet. They treated you with really good respect. They should not have been faction just because they needed a break.
When was that? When was that happening?
When you had your...
You haven't been around them for at least 2 months.
I don't